Hello teacher, my name is Andres Felipe Fuentes Forero and this is my final project. I chose the Global Sports Finance or this database about the salaries in different sports in terms of money for the players. Okay, so I had some problems with the recording, so that's why I had to record in different platforms. Okay, so in the first sheet, I used the total payroll and the team, and I decided to colorize the total payroll to better identify the data. I also wanted to sort it from highest to lowest to see which team and league paid the most. You will see that in a couple of seconds. This was done to show the annual revenue for each type of sport. This allows us or me to identify which sports and teams are most profitable. I did this in a bar chart, in descending order and using a range of colors to better understand the teams that generate the most revenue. As you can see, the first one is Los Angeles Dodgers from MLB, and the last one is Texas Rangers from MLB. Sorry. So these are the colors that I just mentioned in the explanation. Here I show you how I did. And as I told you before, I'm sorry for the troubles that I had during this video, but Mac is quite difficult. So I also show you the numbers in millions of dollars. Okay, so let's see the second sheet. The first one is the revenue per team, as I told you before. The second one that I will explain you will appear in a couple of seconds. Second sheet. All right, so in this sheet I took the last year's rank, which shows the position of each team, also the team, league, percentage, change over last year, which indicates the percentage variation compared to the previous year, and finally the average player 5 year value, which is the average value of the players in the last 5 years, or the team average. I also wanted to put a team league filter where we can see a specific team, and finally I decided to put some colors to the last year rank to better identify them. In this second sheet, we can visualize and compare how the average income per player or the main sports teams have changed, highlighting the percentage change compared to the previous year. In the same way, it allows us to see which teams are growing, like Manchester City or Milan from Italy, and which ones are losing values, like the Lakers. Here you can see what I just said. The first one is Manchester City from Premier League from England. Okay, as you can see, the name of this sheet is change from past years. So sorry, teacher, for the dogs. Okay, teacher. So let's go to the sheet number 3. In this sheet, I wanted to show the average annual salary per player in each of the teams analyzed. So I start by putting the average annual pay per player and the team league, and I decided to color the average annual pay per player to be able to better see this variation. In the same way, I ordered it from highest to lowest to keep in mind that the team that pays the most, of course. This bar chart allows us to analyze which teams are investing the most money in player salaries. It can also be identified which leagues pay the most, for example, the Premier League and MLB from baseball are among the leagues with the highest salaries. And of course, the sheet names is salary of each player per team. Okay, let's continue, teacher. In this new sheet, and the sheet number 4, in this sheet I'm going to create the ranking of the percentage of the total payroll and the average annual pay per player. I'm going to start by discretely entering the rank, also the team, league, and finally I'm going to enter the total payroll, where we will create a quick table calculation that will show us, or show me in this case, the percentage that team represents compared to the others. I also decided to add color, of course, to this field to make it easier to identify. In this sheet, we're not only seeing the absolute values but also the impact each team has in relation to the total. This is useful to know, for example, that although Manchester City pays a lot per player, it only represents the 1.26% of the total. Finally, I also decided to filter it by ranking to make it easier when searching. This also helps us, for example, to search for the top 50 teams in the rankings. Sorry. Okay, teacher. The next page, the next sheet, number 5. In this sheet, I wanted to create a scatter plot showing the relationship between average annual pay per player and total payroll. I also decided to add a filter to make it easier to see which team I am analyzing. Finally, it's important to show the trend line, which indicates how the teams are growing or declining. According to this graph, it has an ascending line indicating that the higher the total salaries, the higher up the average salary per player. Alright, teacher. So in this page or sheet number 6, this sheet, I'm going to create the ranking of the percentage. So sorry. In this chart, I wanted to analyze the evolution of the English Premier League teams, having the total payroll on the y-axis and the percentage change over 5 years on the x-axis. This graph shows how Premier League teams have evolved in relation to their percentage change in recent years. For example, teams with a negative change, minus 24%, have reduced their salary expenses. In this graph, we can see we can also I'm so sorry we can also compare teams that currently spend a lot but are growing little, and the same way teams that spend little but have now grown a lot. High percentage change with low payroll. Okay, teacher. The sheet number 7, the next sheet, I will show relevant information about La Liga from Spain. Teams filtering only those clubs that participate in that league. We can see a ranking of La Liga teams based on their total payroll along with the average annual pay per player. For example, Barcelona and Real Madrid stand out with the highest payroll, over 190 million, and also the highest average salaries per player. This analysis allows me to identify how financial resources are distributed within a single league and can also be related to sporting performance, the hiring of key players, or the level of competitiveness of each team. Okay, the sheet number 8. This sheet features an interactive map of the top 5 teams in the Spanish La Liga and in the English Premier League. Select as the 10 most recognized teams from each league. A filter has been applied to show only these 10 teams, and their locations have been manually adjusted to accurately represent their locations since we don't have a table with each of the team's countries. Their rankings in which these teams are ranked have been colored differently. This map allows a comparison between the elite teams of two of the most competitive leagues in the world. Okay, in this new sheet, in the sheet number 9, I use this sheet, use the team in the ranks, the total sum payroll, and finally I create and calculate field called estimate numbers of players, and it is a field where I divide the total payroll between the average annual pay per player, although it is an estimate. It offers an approximate idea of the size of the expense, and finally we order it in an ascending way to be able to better see the data. This sheet presents a comparative table that identifies the team and the league to which they belong with the estimated number of players. Okay, so in this sheet number 10, in this sheet I used the sum rank, sum average annual pay per player, and the team and league filters, where I decided to use it as a filter to analyze the relationship between the average annual salary per player and the ranking of the German league teams. This graph uses a dual axis chart. The left side of the chart shows the ranking of each team, colored orange, and the left side displays the average salary paid by team. The right side, sorry. This chart allows for analyzing the financial efficiency of German teams. Okay, so here in the dashboard page or sheet, I'll show a representation of each sheet by floating them and deleting each of the filters for each sheet. This dashboard allows us to clearly and interactively visualize and analyze each of the analysis performed as it summarizes the information. Alright, so in this final part of my project, teacher, and in this story sheet, I will present actually each of the sheets in presentation from to narrate the data analysis step by step. On each slide, I show each of the graphs created earlier, and I decided to number them to make the number of slides more readable and easier to understand. This story can be used as a visual and dynamic presentation and avoids the clutter of multiple graphs. Okay, teacher, so in this final part of the video, I want to say thanks for everything during the semester. Thank you for everything that you share with us, or in this case, with me. I got everything new. I have a very clear understanding of Tableau and everything that you share with us. Thank you very much. And that was all. This is my final project from Andres Felipe Fuentes Forero, and see you in the future.